who is going to receive the reading at the end of this video. And here we have one name, and the reading is for Gina. Congratulations, Gina. We're going to do your reading at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. And now back to the weekly reading. As always, we're going to get started by establishing the central theme of our contemplation with the Gipsy cards. Okay. And the theme is ecclesiastic. So, this is the holy man who is part of the church system, someone who imparts divine wisdom onto people in need who come to him for advice. And in Hungarian, this is called Lelkész. In German, it's Geistlicher. And then we have Prêtre. I'm really not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Prêtre. Ecclesiastic. Svećenik. Sacerdote. Sacerdote. Not sure. Please help me out in the comments. I know I have an international audience, so some of you are for sure going to be much better informed on how these are supposed to be pronounced. So anyway, I guess we could quite simply refer to this person and this role as the role of a priest. Someone who is there to guide people in need, guide those that are lost and not exactly sure what the right step is. So, obviously, we're looking at this through the lens of it being a metaphor. We're not talking about actual rules assumed within the Catholic system or any other religious system. We're not interested in that specifically. We're looking at the archetype of the guide, of this sacred person who is capable of imparting divine knowledge and guidance onto others. So this is going to be at the core of this reading, and we're going to find out by way of using the tarot how this relates to you and how it's going to actually unfold throughout the week. So what does this mean exactly? How do you relate to this? Here we go. Okay, that's interesting. So we have justice, number 8 of the major arcana, showing up. So the central question is not, or the central quest, or the most important thing for this week is not to find truth that is soothing. It is to find truth that stands the test of morality, and also a kind of truth that represents balance in a bigger context. So not just individual balance, but balance on a larger scale, on the scale of a community, on the scale of a whole country, perhaps, or even in a broader context, humankind as a whole. Justice represents this theme of fairness, which sometimes can have sort of vindictive edge to it. So it's not exactly the most soothing or the most forgiving of energies, but it also contains or involves compassion to a certain degree. Equal measures is an important central concept here. The alignment of ratios when it comes to actions and counteractions. Justice is primarily concerned with establishing a system such as that, where there's no access, where there's no absence of action or overabundance of action as a response to a certain action. So there's a proportionate response or reaction to whatever is being expressed. So what is going to really matter throughout this year, throughout this week, is the question of what I'm about to do, how I'm about to react to what is being done to me. How proportionate is it? How justified is it? How aligned is it with this divine system that seeks to establish harmony and balance, even if it does so with a certain level of vindictiveness here and there. So this is not exactly about boundless inclusion and being incredibly forgiving and having this ability to love unconditionally. So it's not exactly about that, but it is definitely about finding symmetry, finding the right kind of structure to communicate your needs or your message. So how to do that? You're going to need some kind of an external figure. That's the figure of this priest, of this character, which most likely is to be found in your environment, but that's not to say that it couldn't be an internal counsel that you can consult in your time of need. it could be a facet of your personality or of your consciousness, rather, that is more ancient and more knowledgeable than the less mature and more impulse-driven parts of you. And so it could be a facet of yourself that that you can seek out in chaotic situations where you're not sure what the proportionate response is. But more often than not, this internal guide is hidden from us, and therefore it instead manifests in an external form. Truth be told, doesn't really make much of a difference whether you go outside for this knowledge or whether you retrieve it from within. It ultimately doesn't matter. The point that the tarot is trying to make here is that, keep in mind, there is a way to react to a certain kind of input that you receive that might ruffle your feathers, that you might not be comfortable with, that you want to lash out or what have you. It is possible that such things will happen, but it is also possible to react to those things with equal measure and with a clear, calm mind. And now moving on to Gina's reading. If you guys want to stick around and watch Gina's reading, you're more than welcome to stay. Perhaps you're going to find something in this reading as well that you can apply to yourself or that can help you in your current situation. But if you would like to receive a personalized reading just for you about your situation, about your questions that emerge about your life, then I recommend that you check out my website where you can book a reading with me, and you can even subscribe for monthly readings. Okay, so Gina, we're going to do a freestyle reading for you. So whatever it is that has come up recently, if you can think of anything that you've recently been struggling with, keep the memory or the thought of that thing in the center of your consciousness now. And the cards are going to reflect on the energy of that thing or those events. So what does the tarot would like to say to you, Gina? Let's see. What is the message? First message. And I would like to draw another card to let you know about what it is that you need to do. What's the best course of action? All right. So we have the King of Cups and the Eight of Wands as your guidance. Okay. So the King of Cups, the King of Water, is suggesting to me that you've done a lot of inner work recently, and you are slowly but surely getting a handle on your situation. The King of Cups is about establishing a situation where you have more control than before. So it's about being in charge, being able to regulate yourself emotionally, and being able to represent that kind of internal stability to other people as well, not just yourself. So the King of Cups is a little bit like a role model in that sense. He is able to gather himself and make constructive choices, even in situations that are emotionally exhausting. So you're getting good, you're getting better and better at establishing this kind of soft control. So the emotional side of things seems to be more or less under your control. And there's a high level of maturity that the King of Cups tells you about. When it comes to the guidance that the tarot would like to impart upon you, we have the Eight of Wands showing up. So the Eight of Wands is saying it's all well and good that you have established a connection with your own heart and that you have been striving to gain stability, a dynamic sense of stability in an emotional sense. And so that's wonderful. However, what's missing and where you could make some improvements is movement. The Eight of Wands is about being kind of like a supernova, engaging with your environment intensely. And that involves your mind, your body, your spirit, everything, your creativity. So with the King of Cups, you have created the ample level of emotional security to move forward and express yourself dynamically in the world. But for the time being, you haven't really allowed yourself to do that much. So the Eight of Wands could, in a very literal sense, refer to physical exercise or creative endeavors of all kinds where you are fully immersed in the flow of events, where you are busy and occupied mentally, where there's this intense stimulation coming from the external world that makes you forget yourself almost. So the Eight of Wands is kind of like a flame of creativity that comes through and burns everything in its way. So the cards are wondering and they're asking you if you can allow yourself to put yourself more out there, to engage more directly on an empirical level with the world instead of staying in this relatively abstract and neutral space that the King of Cups inhabits. The Eight of Wands is asking whether it's possible for you to push yourself a little harder, to experience a little more of life, and to get a little more excited about being here, because it's amazing to be here. and spring is coming. So probably are going to have a lot of opportunity to engage with the world in a little more intense ways. So Gina, thank you for watching, and thank you everyone else who decided to stay and watch. If you like my videos, please subscribe or leave a comment or like this video, and see you next week. Bye bye.